So, you want to start a kindred. If you're watching this, you're probably feeling the call to do something more, something real. Maybe you're tired of wandering alone, or you've been part of groups that didn't feel quite right. Starting your own kindred can seem a little overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. This video breaks down a simple step-by-step process that anyone or any group can follow to build a kindred that fits your vision and serves your chosen heathen family. We're going to cover everything from understanding what a kindred really is, to finding your people, to building rituals, to leading without ego. All the essentials to get you started and keep it going, whether you're creating your first kindred or rebuilding a stronger one. This is your guide to building community with purpose, honor, and heart. This is how the Heathen. What is a kindred? Historically, the word kindred referred to extended family, your kinfolk, your blood. In pre-Christian Scandinavia, life was tribal. One's identity was deeply tied to their kindred. These weren't just blood relatives, but a network of loyalty, obligation, and honor. Protection, survival, worship, and justice all happen within the kindred structure. When someone spoke of their gods, their ancestors, or even their enemies, it was always in the context of their people. That was the original kindred, a living, breathing bond between individuals who shared oaths, land, and legacy. Fast forward to the 1970s in America. As the old gods began to reemerge, veterans, bikers, and blue-collar seekers of something older than modern religion, well, they started building communities of like-minded heathens. Inspired by the brotherhood and structure of motorcycle clubs, MCs, these new kindreds are often small, tightly bonded groups built on loyalty and shared values. Titles like Gythja, Goði, and Thyle echoed old Norse roles, while the group dynamic reflected MC traditions, hangarounds, prospects, and full members bound by trust and honor. Today, kindreds have evolved beyond that. Some stay close to that tribal model, others resemble spiritual study groups, but at their core, a kindred is a chosen family of heathens walking the path together. They pray together, feast together, and often hold each other accountable. It's more than just a group. It's a bond. It's family. Start with your why. Before you gather a single person, light a candle, or write a name for your kindred, ask yourself why. Why are you doing this? Is it to build community, to deepen your spiritual connection, to give others a safe space to grow in the faith? Or maybe it's because you couldn't find a kindred that aligned with your values. So now you feel called to create what's missing. Whatever the reason, your purpose is your compass. Without it, your kindred will travel. With it, you'll have direction, even in the times of disagreement or change. Starting a kindred isn't just about belief. It's about building something that will last. And legacy starts with clarity. Your purpose shapes everything. Who you invite, how you lead, what you tolerate, and how your rituals unfold. A kindred focused on family bonding and raising kids in the faith is going to look extremely different from one built around warrior spirit and ancestral devotion. Neither is wrong, but you need to know your why. Be transparent about it from the beginning. If your goal is ego, status, or control, this path will humble you fast. But if your goal is to serve something greater than yourself and to create space for others to grow stronger in their path and in their lives, well, then you're on solid ground. Every fire starts with a spark. Make sure yours comes from the heart. Know what you stand for. Once you know why you're starting a kindred, the next step is knowing what it stands for. This isn't just about spiritual belief. It's about values, culture, and code. A kindred isn't a loose group of random people who like Viking Age history. It's a tribe with a shared understanding of what matters. That includes your stance on inclusivity, racism, politics, leadership, and what kind of behavior earns respect, or what gets you the door. You need to build a moral backbone. If you don't set that foundation early, you leave room for confusion, drama, or worse, infiltration from those who misuse Norse symbols and the language to push hate. And make no mistake about it, some hate groups do absolutely try to infiltrate inclusive kindreds to disrupt them from the inside. Be careful who you let in. This is where you put it in writing. Create a living document or a kindred charter. It can be simple, but it should answer real questions. Do you accept locals? Are you family friendly? Or are you more adult centered? How do you handle conflict? Are oaths sacred? Do you celebrate all gods or just the Azir? And most importantly, what will you not tolerate? Your kindred doesn't have to match anyone else's blueprint, but it must have a clear identity. Clarity builds trust, trust builds tribe. Now, I've been thinking a lot about how powerful a true kindred can be, especially in today's digital world. And I actually have a fully functioning Discord server set up. But truth be told, I'm still trying to figure out how to make it work for a real online kindred. So if you're watching this video and you know Discord inside and out, or actually just pretty good at it, and you want to help build a safe, educational, and respectful heathen space online, I would be honored to have your support. This community means everything to me. And together, we can create a place where modern heathens gather, learn, and grow. If that sounds like something you want to be a part of, reach out. Let's build something meaningful. I'm putting a link to an email in the description of the video. It's the first link. Email me there and let's start the conversation about the online kindred. Find your people. Now that you know your why and what you stand for, it's time to find the right people to build with. But here's the truth. Not everyone who calls themselves heathen is meant to be a part of your kindred. This isn't about collecting followers. It's about forging bonds. Start slow. Go to local pagan events. Attend open blows. Or host your own public ritual. Let people observe and let yourself observe them. You're not recruiting, you're building. You want people who show up consistently, who act with integrity, and who resonate with your vision. Many modern kindreds, especially those who are influenced by motorcycle club structure, well, they use a 3-phase path to membership. First, you have your guest, friend of the kindred, the equivalent of an MC hang-around. They're welcome to attend, but no obligations, and more importantly, no rights in the kindred. Everyone's just getting a feel for the vibe. Trial member, oath taker in waiting. The MC equivalent of a prospect. Someone who's asked to join and is under observation. They help out, learn the culture, and show loyalty. Full member, oathed kin. MC equivalent of a full patch. Someone who's been formally accepted into the group and likely have taken oaths. They now represent the kindred in all things in their life. You don't need this structure, but if you use it, it will protect the integrity of your group and ensure that trust is built, not assumed. Loyalty should be earned, not fast-tracked for numbers. As your kindred grows, it's smart to assign internal roles. Not for hierarchy's sake, but for function and flow. There's a list of commonly used and effective positions in that. Chieftain, the face and the leader of the kindred, oversees direction, represents the group, and keeps everyone on mission. A Goði or Gythja, they're spiritual leaders responsible for rituals, lore, and for honoring the gods. Thyle, a keeper of wisdom, lore, and sometimes humor, often challenges ideas to keep the group sharp. The Skald, my favorite, the storyteller, the poet, or the chronicler, documents the kindred's journey, and it shares its legacy. Herser, or a warden, responsible for discipline, safety, and order during gatherings. Seer, Volva, a spiritual advisor or a diviner, if the group incorporates that into their practice. The Hofkeeper, it manages the physical ritual space or hosts events. The Treasurer / Quartermaster, manages finances, gear, and supplies. The Frithkeeper, a neutral party who steps in when conflicts arise and helps mediate any disputes within the group. Not every kindred will need every role right away. Not every kindred will need any of these roles. But even assigning a few can create shared responsibility and purpose. You're not just building a community, you're forming a tribe. Make sure everyone who steps into your hall knows what it means to be there. When building community, remember that quality over quantity is usually the good rule. A single good person is better than 5 who drain the energy out of the room. It's easier to carry 4 quarters than it is to carry 100 pennies. Choose people who reflect your kindred's values and bring something of themselves to the table. This is your shield wall. Make sure they're worth standing beside. Build rituals and traditions. A kindred without a heart is just a meetup group. What gives a kindred life is its rituals. The things you do together that create meaning, memory, and momentum. You don't need elaborate ceremonies or an ancient grove to start, but you need consistency. A monthly ritual, a shared meal, a toast to the ancestors. These become the heartbeat of your kindred. As time passes, those simple acts build into traditions. They become sacred, not because they're old, but because they're yours. They carry the weight of your intent, your effort, and your connection to the gods and one another. Start small. Let your rituals grow with your people. Maybe you light a candle and speak your oaths. Maybe you celebrate seasonal festivals or honor a different deity each month. Maybe you take turns hosting and bring a dish that means something to your lineage. The rituals don't have to be perfect, but they have to be real. Traditions anchor your kindred in time, in story, and in spirit. They remind everyone why they're there and what they're part of, and where they belong. That's how a kindred becomes more than a group. That's how it becomes a tribe. Leadership without ego. Leading a kindred isn't about power or status. It's about service. The role of a leader, whether you call yourself chieftain, Goði, or something else entirely, is to guide with humility and hold the group to its values. You're not the boss, you're the first among equals. This means listening more than talking, stepping back when others shine, and stepping up when the kindred needs direction. Leadership requires courage to face conflict head on, but also wisdom to know when to let go. A kindred flourishes under a leader who empowers others, not tries to control them. That doesn't mean leadership is easy. You'll face tough decisions. Who gets in? Who gets called out? When it's time to say goodbye. But leadership without ego means holding those lines fairly and firmly, always, with the kindred's well-being as the priority. It's about creating a culture where everyone feels accountable, valued, and safe. When leaders lead with honor, the whole kindred becomes stronger. That's the kind of leadership that builds legacy, not just for today, but for generations to come. Forge the fellowship you wish existed. Building a kindred isn't easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. And if you've made it this far, then you're not just curious, you're ready. Ready to stop waiting for the perfect group and start creating it. Whether your kindred starts with 5 people or just 1, what matters is the intention behind it. Set your standards, speak your truth, lead with honor, and surround yourself with people who are ready to walk beside you. Not just through rituals, but through life. Now, if you want daily wisdom to help guide you on this path, check out the Modern Havamal. It's my book that takes the ancient words of Odin and reshapes them for the world we live in now. It's not just poetry, it's practical, powerful insight for every modern heathen. And if this video helped you out, do me a solid, like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Share it with someone you know who's been talking about starting a kindred, but hasn't taken that first step. And if you want to build with me directly, hit that email link in the description to inquire about helping me with the Discord server. Stay humble, stay happy, and until next time, stay fucking savage.